Hello students, how are you all? Welcome back to the talent and knowledge management subject. Today we start unit 4. What is that knowledge management framework? Previously in the third unit we came to know about the introductory information about the knowledge management. What is the knowledge? Knowledge is nothing but the information which helps us to take decisions. So, before itself having some information while taking any decision is nothing but the knowledge. So, before purchasing any kind of electronic gadget, we will be getting some information regarding that company, price, features, whatever that electronic gadget is offering, which is nothing but the knowledge. Exclusive here, the knowledge management is nothing but we are going to extract the knowledge wherever which is available in the organization. That means experienced workers will have the knowledge about particular task, what you call that tacit kind of knowledge, and knowledge will be available in terms of what you call codification, in terms of the text, in terms of the books, explicit knowledge, understand. So knowledge management is nothing but leveraging the information from these kinds of sources. So under knowledge management framework, we are understanding what are the procedures we need to follow to leverage, to make use of all these knowledge resources which are available, especially regarding to any organization. Because the business world is completely uncertain. Nobody knows in the next moment what is going to happen. The only competitive advantage will have the organization nothing but want to have the acquaintance of the knowledge, enhancement of the knowledge, what to call in regarding various kinds of decision making situations. According to that, acting, making decisions, which makes the existence of the organization without any kind of what to call difficulty. Hence, the knowledge management is important. How to do that knowledge management will be understanding is known as the framework. Framework is nothing but the chassis, skeleton, picturization of what you call the various activities, whatever you perform when you are going for knowledge management. So under this concept, we are going to understand HANSEN's knowledge management techniques, Earl's knowledge management techniques, Kahneman's knowledge management techniques, like various great philosophers, understand, these people, explain various concepts regarding the knowledge management frameworks are concerned. Okay. So let us see what all the things we are going to understand. The first one is the knowledge management framework, mechanism and infrastructure. Now these are the very important elements. So before going to have that knowledge framework infrastructure understanding. So what are these elements? The first one is called the knowledge acquisition. The second one is the knowledge sharing. The third one is nothing but the knowledge utilization. So under knowledge acquisition, the knowledge will be acquainted, grabbed, in terms of tacit knowledge or in terms of the explicit knowledge, which will be used throughout the organization for the betterment. So in the knowledge sharing, what you are going to understand, we are going to understand how to share the available knowledge among the workers. There are so many channels are there, like conducting face-to-face interactions or else training sessions. All this comes under what we call knowledge sharing. And final stage is going to be the knowledge utilization. So under knowledge utilization, we are going to understand how to make use of the available knowledge whenever the actual situation arises. So whenever appropriate way the available knowledge has been not used, it's useless. So these things we are going to discuss now. So these are all considered as the critical elements of knowledge management system. The first one is the knowledge acquisition. The second one, the knowledge sharing. The third one is the knowledge utilization. So what is knowledge acquisition? Nothing but the process of extracting, structuring and organizing knowledge from one source, usually human experts, so it can be used in software such as enterprise softwares. Business intelligence would be there. This is a kind of enterprise software. So if you want to take appropriate decisions in the business intelligence kind of situation, what is required? Before that, you should have the performance of the business in terms of the facts, in terms of the figures. So the knowledge acquisition, nothing but extracting that information from the experiences, from the records, and all this knowledge will be in a what to call proper way will be set, so that the situation whenever demands it can be used. Supply chain management would be there. It is also a kind of what to call enterprise software situation. So how the products have been moving on the supply chain, and what are the channels have been using to finally reach the products to the customer hands. Understand? The next one, the employees may obtain knowledge through a variety of learning activities within an organization, such as training, formal education, experimentation, imitation, and self-directed learning. So these are the few of the techniques one can acquire the knowledge in an organization. Generally, juniors will be imitating the way the seniors will be doing something. In terms of various situations, decision making area in terms of finance, in terms of marketing, in terms of other related areas of the business. So what do you call that? Imitation. Sometimes seniors will be experimenting with what you call new kind of approaches. Through the formal education also sometimes knowledge can be grabbed. Training, self-directed learning, understand? So these are few of the skills which actually provides a channel, a road, a path, isn't it, to acquire the knowledge. The acquisition of knowledge either by organizations or individuals is considered critical to the success of the organization in a dynamic and uncertain business environment. The knowledge management acquisition is going to be a very, very critical activity. Altogether, a mix of so many complex events. Still, it is important. Why? Because the dynamic nature of the business, the complete uncertainty of the business environment. So what do you call this? The first element, the knowledge acquisition. The next one is the knowledge sharing. So which is an activity through which knowledge exchange among people, friends, peers, families, communities are within or between the organizations. The second element is going to be the sharing of the knowledge. In terms of the organizations, if you think, if at all any new kind of software has been introduced into a company, it may have what to call experience from the other companies which are already using that software. what you call this knowledge sharing. Sometimes this knowledge sharing would be there in terms of communities, families. So generally now we are focusing on the knowledge sharing within or else what you call between the organizations. As you all know that in this pandemic situation, few organizations came forward, wasn't it, to share the chemical composition of the COVID vaccine, like Reddy Laboratories. Understand? So overall way, both the organizations are going to flourish. Knowledge sharing is a part of the knowledge management process. So this is one of the aspects under what we call the knowledge management. So under knowledge management, what we are doing, we are actually grabbing the knowledge from the reservoirs, resources where the knowledge is available in terms of the human beings, in terms of what we call other formats. Hence the knowledge sharing is a very, very important part of the knowledge management process, which is the process through which the explicit or tacit knowledge is communicated to other individuals. So in terms of codes, in terms of text also, knowledge will be given to the generation, pass on to the next generation. In terms of sharing the skills also, knowledge can be shared with the people. So what we call the tacit knowledge. So these are a few of the typical examples, like writing books or research papers. So knowledge sharing facilitates decision making capabilities by cutting through the noise. So here what is the noise? Unwanted information. So whenever information has been grabbed for success of what we call organization, what is required, what is essential, that only need to be considered. Unnecessary information should be edited, removed from the available information. What you call statistical term, noise. Builds learning organizations by making learning routine, where everyone continuously assesses themselves looking for ways to improve. So knowledge sharing creates learning organizations. Win-to-win situation will be there. Organizations will come forward to share their knowledge among themselves. Win-to-win situation, what we call this. So that environment can be created through the knowledge sharing. Stimulates cultural change, innovation, by encouraging the free flow of ideas. So knowledge sharing actually stimulates, instigates huge change in terms of culture is concerned. Culture in the sense habits, psychological behavior of the people, employees of an organization. Positive cultural changes one can have. And also the knowledge sharing encourages innovation, creative way of thinking. Motivates them to become leaders, not the followers. So knowledge sharing, which is a second element. The knowledge utilization, the final element. Using accumulated knowledge to tackle problems, develop new products and deal with the unfamiliar situations. Through the first and second steps, we have the knowledge, but that available knowledge not used in a proper situation, it becomes useless. Hence, the accumulated knowledge, what is the purpose? To tackle the problems. And also, the accumulated knowledge should help to the new products, new techniques, new ways of what we called giving solutions to the problems based upon the changes in the environment with the unfamiliar situations. So knowledge is of no use unless it is applied to solve business problems. with huge experience, with innovative kind of ideas, if the available knowledge has not been used, what is the meaning of that? Understand? All the efforts are going to be wasted. Hence, the knowledge application is very, very important. So these are the three very, very important elements. What are those? Knowledge acquisition, knowledge sharing, knowledge utilization. Now we are discussing few of the steps generally which are going to be repeated, what we call this life cycle steps. There are overall 6 steps are there which will be considered as the life cycle steps under knowledge management. The very first one is the creating knowledge, the second one is the capturing knowledge, transferring knowledge, sharing knowledge, using knowledge, and finally disposal of knowledge. What is creating knowledge? How a knowledge will be created? A knowledge will be created just by motivation, allowing the employees to think innovatively, to think critically. Understand? So when free mind environment is existing, understand, it allows to create a knowledge, to share of the information which leads to the creation of the knowledge. Hence, the organization should motivate employees to be more creative, innovative towards gathering the knowledge. So, for creating the knowledge, what is important? The knowledge, I mean to say, the employee should be given freedom. Capturing the knowledge. As you all know that most of the time knowledge will be in terms of what we call explicit format and as well as a tacit format. So explicit format means it can be codified, it can be reproduced in terms of the text, in terms of the information. But whereas the tacit kind of knowledge is nothing but very, very difficult. In terms of experience only you can find the tacit kind of knowledge. It can be passed on to other people, that's it. So these variety kinds of knowledge should be captured in an appropriate way for the next level purpose. So transferring the knowledge. So this tacit and as well as what we call explicit knowledge should be converted into a standard format. When the available knowledge is standard format which is known by all other employees of the organization, which can be used, which is going to be more purposeful or useful. So what do you call this? Transferring knowledge. Sharing of the knowledge. When the standardized format of the knowledge is available, which can be shared among his employees by using various formats like face-to-face or else what you call the personal communication or else through the what you called the advanced technologies. The next one is using the knowledge. So whenever situation arises, when situation demands, the knowledge usage is essential, then to read from the situation what is required, appropriate knowledge should be used. Disposal of the knowledge, it's a very, very critical step. So under disposal of the knowledge, so what will be there? Generally the old information will be deleted. One need to be very, very careful. Sometimes the historical information also going to be more useful in some situations. Hence one needs to have thorough understanding before disposal of the knowledge. So these are all called life cycle steps under knowledge management. The number one is the creating the knowledge, capturing the knowledge, transferring the knowledge, sharing knowledge, using knowledge, and as well as the disposal of the knowledge. Now we'll discuss the architectural components of the knowledge management. What do you mean architectural components? Actually, on these pillars the entire knowledge management is going to rest. So these are going to be the pillars for knowledge management, which are 4 in number. Number 1 is the content storage. Number 2, content search, content analysis, content dissemination. Under content storage, the knowledge will be stored in a systematic manner, which should help in smooth and easy analysis and processing of the data whenever situation demands. What is actually content? The valuable information. So what do you call this level? Content storage. So under content storage, what will be taking place? All this is going to be in a structured way, systematic manner will be stored, so that when situation demands will be useful. The next one is a content search. The content search is nothing but the knowledge reservoirs from where actually textual database or else the data warehouses or else from the photo galleries and so on. The content will be searched and the wanted information will be procured. The next one is the content analysis. Analysis means critically separating all the unwanted information and having the wanted information. The analysis part can be done by using data mining, visualization tools, Bayesian modeling, neural networks and so on. So these are the advanced techniques, software techniques through which content analysis will be performed. The next one is a content dissemination. That means information spreading. How the information can be spreaded? Through the digital knowledge assets, through the software tools, the content dissemination practices can be performed. So these 4 are called as architectural components of the knowledge management. The number 1 is the content storage. The next one is the content search, content analysis, content dissemination. Now we are going to discuss the very first one. As far as the knowledge management frameworks are concerned, HANSEN's knowledge management framework, which is a fundamental and as well as very effective way of maintaining the knowledge management. So generally the HANSEN differentiates between codification and personalization. What is codification? Codification means converting the available knowledge in terms of the textual format. And personalization, what will be there? Based upon the needs of the customers, needs of the stakeholders, the solution will be identified. The HANSEN's knowledge framework main intention is differentiating between codification and as well as the personalization. So HANSEN's knowledge management framework KMF differentiate between knowledge strategy of codification and personalization. So under codification, what will be there? The information will be reproduced in terms of the papers, in terms of the documents, in terms of the books. Can be stored in the libraries. So knowledge strategy of codification knowledge is codified and transferred to documents. In personalization strategy, knowledge cannot be qualified due to its nature. So it has to share face to face between the workers. So you will be observing the organization, few skills are there which cannot be transferred in terms of text, through the words, through the actions, through the signals only. Few kinds of information will be passed on to the next level kind of stakeholders. What do you call this? Personalization of the knowledge. But according to the HANSEN, what he says, both strategies are required to gain competitive weight. So organization, if desired to have long future, what is required, that should give information for the codified knowledge and as well as the personalization kind of knowledge. Or else what is going to be there? It is going to be a weakened situation. Hence, both strategies are required to gain competitive weight. So according to HANSEN, HRM has got strong connection to both strategies, codification and personalization. So human resource management defines that HANSEN is having strong connection with the between what to call two areas of knowledges. One is codification and as well as the personalization. So by HRM, right from manpower planning to recruitment, training and performance appraisals, worker selection should be purposeful for codification of knowledge and also for personalization. So what are the basic practices under HRM? Planning for the human resources. Next, recruitment operations, selection operations, training them. In all these basic areas, if you concern, everywhere while these processes are going on, back of the mind, what should be there? Codification of the knowledge and as well as the personalization of the knowledge. Both the knowledge should be given due recognition, equal weightage. Or else getting success in that organization is going to be very, very difficult. So this is called HANSEN's knowledge management framework. One of the finest explanations as far as the knowledge management is concerned. Very, very important discussion. So HANSEN's deviates between two types of the knowledges. One is called codification type, one more is personalization type. So in the organization, codification knowledge can be what you called separated and developed documents in terms of the documents. But as far as the personalization is concerned, so this kind of knowledge cannot be what you called reproduced. So what is required? What is the best channel for personalization kind of knowledge sharing? Face to face between the workers. But while HRM practices are taking place, both kinds of knowledges are essential, equally balanced, should be given equal weightages. Okay. So today what we discussed, HANSEN's knowledge management framework, architectural components of knowledge management, knowledge management life cycle steps like creating knowledge, capturing knowledge, transferring knowledge, sharing knowledge, using knowledge, disposal of knowledge. Like elements, what are the elements? The knowledge utilization, knowledge sharing, knowledge acquisition. So today we started the knowledge management framework and we discussed a very important concept, HANSEN's knowledge management framework. So rest of the things we discuss in the next class. Signing off. Thank you so much.